Mike, you actually didn't answer the question, because Cesar Palacio has been in this work for many, many years, and even as the EA, so he should have known about this, or who's not telling the truth? Did GA not notify your office? We work very closely with Anna Bilal's office, and they're quite often up to speed on things such as this that are in the neighborhood. So, are you saying that your office was never informed about the plant?
No, what I'm saying is that the city's job is to deal with land use. This is a federally regulated operation. It really doesn't come down to the city. Like, I think somebody from public health may be here, and uranium isn't the substance that the city tracks.
Okay, so in your office, community safety isn't discussed and discussed with the community?
Not only is it discussed, it's paramount.
Just as an aside, I would love to invite you and Cesar to our regular digging meetings. Urban development is a major topic in what we do, and we would love for you to come and hear our views on, as you call it, the wonderful development at DuPont and Lansdowne. We have some differing opinions, and we're...
I respectfully disagree. We were just out there actually today, and I wouldn't mind having a talk with you. I don't know what's wrong with it. They're beautiful lots. They've got some nice townhouses across the street. I think from the use that it's been for the last 100 years, marked improvement.
Well, we welcome you to come to a future digging meeting so we can discuss it. It's a longer discussion, obviously. We worked on it for years.
No problem.
So great. Let's not discuss the minutiae of the stats. We will never find an answer. We have differing opinions. You will know how to reach each of these people, and therefore we'll be able to find that information. So let's open it up. The meeting will have to end at 8:15 because announcements will start to blare. So, gentlemen up against the wall, can you say your name and who you are and where you live?
Yeah, my name is Warren. One of my primary concerns.
Sorry, Warren, where do you live? Warren, where do you live?
I live at Perth.
Yes, it does.
We just want to know.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
I live very close.
Yeah.
I'm very concerned about this, the fact that people didn't know that this existed. Regardless of what communications may have been around. I have a couple of neighbors actually who did extensive research before buying and have lived here for 40 years. And so it's not that they weren't doing their homework, but we're completely unaware of the existence of this, and had specifically done homework to figure out what was in the neighborhood. And the thing that bothers me about that is I believe it makes all of the regulation difficult or ineffective, because one of the things we saw in with the oil industry in the Gulf of Mexico is that the regulator had a meaningful direct relationship with company management, and they had a very abstract relationship with the public. Well, that is like 10 times more the case here, because the public didn't even know they were there. And that means that over time, over a period of 50 years, whenever the regulator has a difficult call to make, the calls all start going the same way, and it's very likely that the regulator is going to become, over time, much more amenable to what the company wants to be doing. And it's not, it destroys the relationship. And so, frankly, I feel that the license renewal that recently happened is not valid. That it's
Right on. I just want to speak just quickly to a part of that, because in the license clearly says in section 2.5 that the licensee shall implement and maintain a program for public information for the facility, including a public disclosure protocol. So it doesn't say a one-off, it says implement and maintain a program. We know through the renewal process that the commission was in fact not satisfied with the public information program that the company presented on day one. They came back with a renewed public information program, and then the commission okayed it. We've looked over this public information program, and it doesn't give us, if this is the public information program from the company, then we don't really have one yet. And what I will say to that is that it's incumbent on the federal government to look after and protect Canadians and communities just like this. Now, the Natural Resources Minister is a Toronto MP himself. I think he's Eglinton Lawrence. And we're going to be asking him if he thinks that this is satisfactory. Because in our read, and I think in the Commission's read, there was questions about it. And clearly, if we don't know about what's going on in our community, and it's hard for people who are researching it to find out, then we have an issue here. And the issue is one of oversight, and we've got a government, a federal government, that's bent on deregulation, and we want to know whether that's affected this situation here.
I'm not sure if there was a question in there, but I'll try and give our viewpoint on this. So, first of all, GE Hitachi is exclusively a nuclear company. We don't do anything else. That's all we do. We have a website. If you Google us, you will find us. And on there it describes what our activities are, what we do. So our commitment is to openness and transparency. As far as the public information program goes, so the hearing process, which is it's a public process, which we advertise. The fact that it's in Ottawa is that's where they have hearings. Sometimes they have local hearings at sites, larger sites, like typically reactor sites, but typically it's in Ottawa. The regulator is a tough regulator. They've shut down sites for safety violations. In our case, we've got an excellent safety and compliance record. So the discussion in our hearing was on public information. They weren't discussing safety performance. They weren't discussing safety issues. They were discussing minor improvements to our public information program. At this point, where we are now, it's obvious we need to do some work. I mean, that's obvious. And we want to do that. I mean, we see this meeting as a beginning to start the dialogue, to get the information to residents about the safety of our operation, to answer questions. And that's why we're here.
Can I respond? I'll briefly respond. So the first reason why he said that we're just nuclear is so that you don't put the pieces together to the fact that General Electric manufactures and has manufactured nuclear weapons. They manufactured the Fukushima Mark I boiling water design. This is from Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s work against them in the Hudson River, and this was on the cover of Harbors, General Electric Super Fraud, Why the Hudson River Will Never Flow Clean. And also in terms of accidents, on Sunday, the Fitzpatrick nuclear station, which is also one of 23 twins to the Fukushima reactor, the General Electric manufactured Mark I design, it had a fire on Sunday, and they don't know the cause. They don't know the cause of that. So that's the article right there, that happened on Sunday. So accidents do happen. They had a fire in '99. And just on the weekend as well, there were 2 industrial plants in Quebec that had explosions. And plants need to be safe for workers no matter where they are. But to say that this one couldn't have that, and to say, I don't know what their emergency plan is, but the thing is if there's an explosion in a building that is processing yellow cake uranium, or the powder that they're processing into pellets, if there's an explosion, that could go all over Toronto, and that can contaminate Toronto forever. So my question is, why is this in a residential neighborhood? And secondly, my question maybe to the audience here, following on the gentleman over there, is it might make sense to think about asking General Electric under the circumstances, until we can find out if it is safe or not, that they voluntarily submit to the Nuclear Safety Commission that they will suspend their operation and keep no uranium on site until we can go through the proper process. And we can decide on that process ourselves. And everyone can have their Aaron Brockovich moment.
nuclear exposure in our facility is just simply not credible. We only process natural uranium. It's natural uranium. It cannot spontaneously fission outside of the reactor. It's just not possible. It can't. So that's not possible. So what he's talking about, that risk doesn't exist. Our facility is designed as it must be designed for all possible scenarios. It doesn't matter what happens, so that the risk to the members of the public is low.
Excuse me, there was a fire there in 1999, I understand.
Yeah, actually, it wasn't a fire.
So everybody in the neighborhood was evacuated.
Okay, so let me explain what happened. And again, I'm glad you brought up. So let me clarify what happened. So what it was they were filling up the hydrogen system. Okay, can you hear me today? Okay. So the supplier was filling it up, and there was an overpressure condition because they overfilled it, the third party. So as it overfilled, the system did exactly what it's designed to do. The valve went, and it's designed to release the hydrogen up the stack, and that's what happened. It did everything it was supposed to do. I think what happened in talking to the authorities about it, out of overabundance of caution, they decided to evacuate part of the street on St. Clarence, some of the businesses there, and I think it was the right thing to do, but at no time was anybody at risk. Since then, we've replaced that system and gone to a cryogenic system. That risk of that happening is not there.
The person that actually was evacuated that is a friend of mine, she actually lived opposite the plant, not on St. Clarence, which is
Again, the evacuation was out of overabundance of caution by the authorities, and like I said, it was the right call, but at no time was anybody at risk in the neighborhood.
So you're no longer using nitrogen?
We are, but we have a cryogenic system now, so the risk of overfilling is not there.
But it's highly explosive.
Cryogenic hydrogen is not. In that state, is not explosive.
So what? Just a clarification. My understanding was that there was a fire at the top of the stack. So there was a fire of some kind.
So what happens is, as the system is designed, if you have an overpressure condition, the valve releases the hydrogen up the stack, and it's the safest thing if you're trying to design a safe system is you want the hydrogen to burn off. So it's actually designed to ignite through friction and burn off safely. So to call it a fire, I mean, it wasn't a fire in the plant, it wasn't a fire on the system. It was the stack releasing hydrogen and burning off safely.
And in that scenario, what's released into the atmosphere?
Water.
Gentleman in the black glasses, could you look